Welcome to the Science of Superheroes workshop, sponsored by the Kids Comic Con and the Young Men's Initiative, City of New York. I'm Alex Simmons. I'm the co-founder of Kids Comic Con. I'm also a professional comic book artist and writer. And I've got a lot of other things that I'm involved in and I do over these past many years. But today I'm here to take you through this particular workshop and hope that you can have a good time because we're going to start looking at how science facts are then transferred or translated into science fiction. How we create, in this case, science facts into comic book stories. And of course, as you know, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, into major movies. So we're going to get started in a few moments. I'm going to just start sharing my screen, and then we're going to get going. And I hope you're going to enjoy it. Now, while I'm setting this all up, I hope that you guys will please pull together something to write on, something to write with. So if you got a pen, pencil, and paper, that sort of thing is cool. It's actually very useful in this particular situation because you're also going to be doing some drawing after the, or should say, towards the end of the presentation. But you're also going to take some notes and you're going to have a couple of questions to answer. So again, get something to write on, something to write with. If you only have a digital device, you can do it on your computer or your laptop or your cell phone. Just don't lose this transmission in the process. Okay, so let's share the screen. All right, so hopefully you can see this, and we're going to start with Sci-Tech Heroes, which is also the other name of this particular workshop. There are in the DC and Marvel universe hundreds of characters. And that's what, aliens, cyborgs, robots, monsters, humans, animals, all, Rocket Raccoon, all of these are considered characters in the story. What you see up here right now is a group of superheroes from the DC universe called the Legion of Superheroes. And it kind of looks in this shot a little bit like the Avengers. They're all taking off to, in action postures and positions. And yeah, they are from supposedly different planets, and it takes place in the future. I forget the exact number of years, but way in the future. And again, they fight, tyranny, villainy, world destruction, all of those things. And they all have individual powers. Now, the big difference is, in this case, all of their storylines, all of these characters' powers are based on science fiction material or information. I'll get more specific later, okay? But that's that world, the Legion of Superheroes science fiction. And we move a little bit up here and we take a shot at the very well-known superheroes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And many of them are also heroes whose powers are based in science fact or science fiction. Captain America got his powers through a series of experiments and a super serum that was created. The Wolverine is a mutant, like, we have here Nightcrawler and a few others, and Colossus. And those mutations are changes in the human DNA or chromosomes. So that was something that they were born with and matured or changed on its own, all right? As opposed to the Hulk or the Thing, who are characters whose powers came from their exposure to extreme radiation. Fantastic Four went into space. Their ship was bombarded with radiation, and all four human beings changed dramatically. Mr. Fantastic's powers stretch, Sue Storm's telepathic and telekinetic energy, Johnny Storm fire, and Ben Grimm, the Thing, turned into this super powerful rock stone-like creature. But again, it was the altering of their DNA and their chromosomes, their biology, that changed them into the superpowered beings that they are. You see some of these flying characters in metallic suits like Iron Man, and I think War Machine is in there, and a couple of others are in there. And these are all technological. So their powers and abilities are based in technology. So we have chemistry with Captain America. We have biology in terms of human development, mutations through the X-Men. We have radiation with the Thing and the Fantastic Four and the Hulk. And we have technology with Iron Man, and anyone in a battle suit of that type. Thor is mythology. Thor is based on the gods, if you will, of ancient lore, Norse lore in this case. There are Greek gods like Hercules, and then there's Norse gods like Thor and Odin. And so that's more magical or spiritual if you want to go there, but it's not based in science fact. So we're going to sort of stay away from those characters, those mystical characters or magical characters. We're going to focus on science fact into science fiction. Now we have a larger array of other characters, like we have Black Lightning, and then we have a number of characters from the DC universe as well as the independent comic book universe. You may recognize some of these characters. Icon and Static Shock, which are shown here, and Static's also up here. These are characters who were created by a comic book company called Milestone, which eventually became part of DC, but started out as an independent company, Black-owned, as a matter of fact, with Dwayne McDuffie and Dinkle and Michael Davis. And they created a world of superheroes who were African American or Latinx or Latino. And that was that world in the Milestone universe until it became a part of the DC universe, and then their characters started to interact with some of the DC characters. Then we have, we have Black Lightning again here in this drawing. We have Numira from the Wonder Woman world, so that's again DC. We have Cyborg, we have the Green Lanterns, right? And then we keep going, and we have some of the Hispanic or Latin characters like Miss America, and we have Miles Morales, who became, the second well-known Spider-Man. And then we have Justica, I believe it's pronounced, which is a series of Mexican heroes. They showed up in the Suicide Squad story. So that's a DC universe kind of thing. But again, they have their powers. And I suspect that this character here, because he has sort of an Aztec look to his costume, might be, I didn't read the series. I'm not familiar with the characters as much as I should be. So his powers might be based in more mythical or mythological lore. But again, we have a techno suit here. So again, we can suspect that that's where the science factor enters here. And then we have here Blue Beetle, which is Jamie. And Jamie is, again, Hispanic and became the second Blue Beetle. There was a gentleman named Cord before him, but now we have Jamie, and he is a Blue Beetle, and his costume and his powers come from an alien symbiote, which is a creature that connects to another creature, and they become almost as one. One creature sort of feeds off of or connects to the host character, and they become almost like the same creature, or at least one is the extension of the other. Now that's biology again. So, it's a little techno in this case too, because the alien creature has more technology, but it connects to Jamie's biology, and therein lies that sci-fi fact, okay? Now, are all these things possible in real life? Not necessarily. Maybe there's some bits and pieces, and we're going to look at that. But I just want you to think about this for a moment. These are all mainly characters whose abilities are rooted in science fiction, but came from or was based on some aspect of science fact. Okay. We're going to jump just quickly over to the aquatic world for a moment, and you can see these two characters. You have Aquaman and you have Namor, the Submariner. Now, the odd thing here is, again, both of them, live under the sea, miles and miles below the sea. In the fictional world of Atlantis, I'm sure, those of you who are in the comics know that. Now, odd is that both of them are supposedly the rulers of Atlantis. So Aquaman is the ruler of Atlantis in the DC universe, and Namor is the ruler of Atlantis in the Marvel universe. Now, what's even more bizarre is that Atlantis, which was supposedly a real city on a real island, which really sank due to a tsunami, which was caused by an earthquake. So, again, science fact into potential science fiction. Did Atlantis really exist? We're not really sure, 100%. But a tsunami destroyed the island, sank it to the bottom of the sea, and supposedly some of the humans on the island somehow survived. And again, over many years, over centuries, evolved into mermen and merwomen and could live under the sea. That's sort of the mythology. So actual fact, there was a tsunami, there was a destruction, there was an island that sank, and then after that, it becomes total, maybe sort of, no, probably fiction. What was fact was that originally Atlantis was supposedly off the coast of Spain. So when you see in the DC comics or the Marvel comics that the Submariner comes from Atlantis and suddenly he's in New York, or Aquaman suddenly on the west coast of the United States, moments later, it's either they can swim phenomenally fast from Europe to the United States in minutes, or Atlantis has moved, or more probable, someone who's creating the stories, because these characters were created here in the United States, simply said, let's make Atlantis somewhere out there in the ocean, and these guys can get to New York or wherever in the United States like that, because they're American heroes and American creations. But if Atlantis was really off the coast of Europe, and in particular near Spain, then actually the Atlanteans should probably be speaking some derivative of Spanish. Maybe some part of their language comes from that. And then that also makes you think that, again, if the human beings can evolve or mutate into some other type of life form, does where they come from matter? Like if you're from Africa and you're an Atlantean, does that matter? Will your skin color be different? Will you speak a different language or a different derivative of? If you're from Latin America, South America, would that change? If you're from the Polynesian Islands, would that affect you in any particular way? And the answer is, from the writer's standpoint, from a comic book creator's standpoint, yes, because it gives you more cool stuff to add in there, more culture, more storylines, more interesting things to pull from to make them more fantastic. Now, I want you to remember that, because when you start creating your own characters, we're going to want you to come from something that you know, something you find interesting, maybe your particular cultural background or heritage. All of that can make your characters, your original characters, more distinct and much more different.